I need your clubs, your boots, and your motorcycle. Terminator 2 Judgment Day, written and directed by James Cameron, and of course is the sequel to the 1984 classic movie The Terminator, and the second movie overall in the Terminator saga. Made up of the Terminator, Terminator 2, Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, Terminator Salvation, and Terminator Genesis. So Terminator 2 Judgment Day tells the story of course, continuing years after the first film. The Terminator failed to kill Sarah Connor, thankfully. She's had John, but she's tried to convince the world of Skynet and the Terminator, but nobody's believed her, so she's been put in a mental asylum, and John Connor is now living with foster parents. However, the Terminator from the first film, there's a twist. He comes back good and reformed and wants to protect Sarah and John from the newer Terminator that's out to get them the most formidable foe yet, the T-1000. Now, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, guys, I am just going to get this out of the way, is one of my favourite films of all time. If you thought the first Terminator was amazing, you ain't seen nothing yet. Terminator 2 Judgment Day is one of the greatest classics of cinema. It is an absolute masterpiece in every single way. This is how you do a sequel to perfection. All sequels should take notes from Terminator 2. I'd be surprised if they don't. First of all, James Cameron, I don't know how he does it, but he always manages to make the sequel better than the original. I mean, Aliens was better than Alien, and now Terminator 2 is better than Terminator. So, if of course he's working on Avatar 2 right now, so I have faith Avatar 2 could be better than the original if he keeps this up. First of all, I love what they did with Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator in this movie. I love how they didn't just make him the villain all over again. They actually did a big surprise and shocked the audience by actually making him the good guy this time and reforming him. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was incredible in the first one, but he gives an even better performance here as he has more heart to him and gives a more emotional performance this time as he's trying to understand humans and as he protects Sarah and John throughout the film. And yeah, he is not easy to play a robot trying to understand emotions, but Arnold Schwarzenegger, he gets that down to a T, and he has the best. This is probably his best performance. His character has the best lines in this movie.
Come with me if you want to live.
Best line ever, and I especially prefer Sarah Connor in this movie than in the first one. In the first film, she was still great. She does as a waitress at a jazz club and learnt to find herself as the film went on, but here she's a total freaking badass. She is one of those badass, most awesome, epic women on the silver screen. I mean, you don't fuck with her, and you really feel for her because she's telling the world the truth about the Terminator that tried to assassinate her in Skynet, but everybody thinks she's mad and just forcing her in that asylum against her will and forcing her away from her son. I really cried for her. I really did. I was rooting for her to escape and just kick their asses. And yeah, Linda Hamilton gives her best performance here. She should have been nominated for an Oscar easily. And again, James Cameron is genius with putting women in the action. Yeah, you see other directors, women don't have to be damsels in distresses all the time, and I love John Connor in this movie. Of course, he's a kid; he's not grown up yet, but this kid gives an awesome performance. I mean, he should have gotten an Oscar nomination again. He's one of the best child actors I have ever seen. He's a kid who's been brought up to look out and fend for himself with a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, and he brilliantly portrays that and he forms such a believable, truly wonderful and endearing friendship with the Terminator, as the Terminator protects him and his mother throughout the course of the film. You really believe and buy their friendship. It's the heart of the movie, and whenever it's on, it gets you emotional. And the villain, the antagonist of this movie, the T-1000, is one of cinema's greatest villains. I think we can all agree. This thing is truly an unstoppable force of nature. He can take down anybody. He is absolutely ruthless, and this and there's so much unbelievable tension whenever he's on screen. He is an even bigger threat than the Terminator in the first movie. This movie flawlessly upped the stakes, and I am so proud to call the T-1000 by far the best antagonist of the Terminator franchise. If only he was the villain in all the movies. The story of this movie, it's even better than the first film. The fact that this film improved upon this and actually managed to continue the story from the first film is unbelievable. The opening is epic, which shows, I believe, a glimpse of the future with a Skynet's Terminator armies and soldiers battling us out. I also love how the T-1000 can shapeshift, so he can deceive you into believing he's your ally. That's a manipulative villain. It's all about Sarah, John, and the Terminator trying to stay alive and prevent that horrible future. And there are some legitimately intense and emotional moments throughout the story. When Sarah has that flashback to that epic explosion in the playground, which just reduces everybody to skeletons. That is absolutely horrifying, and the moment where she tries to assassinate the creator of Skynet, and his son is standing in front of his father, begging her, "Please don't hurt my daddy." Oh, that is a legitimately intense moment. You're like, oh my gosh, is she gonna do it? Is she gonna kill this guy to prevent the deaths of thousands? And especially the moment where Sarah Connor escapes from the asylum. There are many moments where she just breaks down and attacks them very understandably. You really feel her pain, and when she actually does attempt to break out, then finally, because she's just had enough of being held in prison, and John and the Terminator go in to get her. That is absolutely thrilling. She doesn't. They don't just make it look like she escapes us so easily. She really faces a challenge, and the characters meet up perfectly. Cameron brilliantly staged that scene, and the action in this movie. Oh my gosh, where do I begin? The action is out of this world amazing, and there's a reason this is considered the greatest action film ever made, because this is the best made, best shot, most epic, most fun, most awesome, and most well-made action, or at least some of it, ever put on film. I mean, the truck chase with Terminator John and T-1000 is awesome in the opening. I mean, that is how you shoot an action scene. I love it's shot perfectly, it's edited perfectly, the use of practical effects. There's a complete lack of CGI, and that totally works. Why do so many movies have to feel the need to CGI action now? Just watch Terminator 2 and your jaw will drop. And also that moment where they break into the Skynet building and just steal all those weapons, and the Terminator just gets out with his big machine gun and is shooting down at the soldiers, and oh, it's just freaking epic. It's freaking awesome. There isn't any bad action in this movie whatsoever, and the road chase with the helicopters, it's just all here. It it's an absolute treat for action fans, and you even when there's not action in the movie, it cleverly slows down to allow for the dramatic emotional moments to stand in. Like there is a moment where Sarah Connor's like, John, you can't risk yourself even for me, and John, he kind of upset by this, and the Terminator, because he's trying to understand emotion with John, he's like, why do you cry? And John explains what humans do. So that's why this movie is an improvement over the first one, not just because it ups the stakes and the action and the story and the characters, but because it has more heart, and James Cameron understands this. In a movie, you've got to have the heart, you've got to have to care. This is something some blockbusters really have been forgetting in recent years. Which is why Terminator 2 is the best in the franchise, because it has the most heart. You care. As well as being the best in the Terminator franchise, story-wise, production-wise, it's the best in the series by far. It has some of the best effects, sets, and visual effects I've ever seen in a movie. Wow, James Cameron worked his butt off to make this movie look as good as it did, and there's even some great gore in it for gore fans. It is a violent movie, extremely, in fact. So especially the moment when the Terminator just shows to the creator of Skynet who he really is, when he just cuts his arm open and just reveals his robotic skeleton. Oh, that is pure awesomeness. And the pacing of this film is incredible. The pace, it's pitch perfect. You will never get bored in Terminator 2. You will have a complete smile on your face. You will be cheering, your jaw dropping awe, and you'll be kept on your toes, on the edge of your seats, and shouting "Eureka" throughout. It absolutely flies by. You will want to see it again immediately afterwards. And the music score of Terminator 2 is brilliant. It's equally as kick-ass as the first film. The final battle in this film, I don't know how they did it, but it's even better than the final battle of the first Terminator. The final battle in the heat factory with the T-1000 is truly epic and ridiculously satisfying. You are just seeing the Terminator just get beaten by the T-1000, desperately trying with all his might to protect Sarah and Connor, and you are just rooting for Sarah and Connor to stay alive, and for the Terminator to stay alive too. We never thought that the machine from the first film that we were supposed to hate, now we care about him more than anything, and that is powerful writing. When the Terminator sacrifices himself for Sarah and John is absolutely heart-wrenching for us, because we grown to love him. We've completely forgiven him from his actions in the first film, and just to see someone who we hated in the first film to love now and completely redeemed himself, and due to his relationship with John, we've grown to love him. We really don't want him to go. Again, that's such powerful conclusion to this movie, but at least the Terminator goes out knowing he saved Sarah and John. He did his duty, and he now understands humans. He understands why people cry at moments like that. So guys, I hope this review does this movie justice, because everything you want in a great movie is in Terminator 2. It is not just one of the greatest sequels ever made. It is one of my favourite movies ever. I give Terminator 2 Judgment Day 5 stars out of 5. Thank you, James Cameron, and I don't have any problems with this movie. It's the best in the Terminator franchise. Well, I love you guys. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what do you think of Terminator 2? Comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow on Twitter and on Google+, and stay tuned for my Aliens review. I'll see you then. Bye, guys.